Hello, welcome to Storytime with HDThul. I am HDThul, and together we will be reading from Henderson's Wagon, one of the books that I wrote, page 112 and chapter 10, entitled The Wall. And, before I get into all that, if you like what I'm reading, click like and subscribe. And also I have 3 other books besides this one on Amazon, if you're interested. So check them out as well. And, without further ado, let's get started. So, Chapter 10, The Wall, page 112. Okay. After the wedding fiasco, Daniel called for an emergency meeting at the city council. He got in front of the podium and spoke into the microphone in front of the whole city council. There is an obvious problem with the biker gangs in this city, Daniel started off. You sure got that right, said an old man in the back of the building. How do you propose that we handle this situation, Mr. Mayor? Said another person from the council. I propose that we build a wall. What? Build a wall? That is ridiculous. No, sir. The only thing that is ridiculous is our gang problem, at which there was an applause. Then the same person who said that the wall was ridiculous said, how do you propose that we pay for such an operation? I don't suppose you have it all in your back pocket, do you? Toll booths. So you are going to put up toll booths and charge our average farmer and our average Joe to pay to use our roads, to enter or exit our city, just to pay for your wall? Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. We put up toll booths on every road coming and going into our city. That, and every person that uses our roads and pays the toll must also register their name so that I know who is in the city and who is not. That way, it will give us more power and control over the gangs in this town. Of course, that is what he said, but what he actually meant was to control every person in this town, not just the bikers like he is proposing. It is an infringement on the people's rights, said another member of the council. It is an infringement on the people's rights, he mocked back. And then he continued with, I don't get you. You tell me that you want something done about our gangs, and then when I do, it is an infringement on our rights? When I have a good idea, you always want to shoot it down, and then say that I am stepping on someone's toes. Well, guess what? Sometimes you gotta step on someone's toes to get something done, don't you? He paused for a moment, then said, besides, this is my town. He slammed his fist on the podium and continued with, I want to know who lives here and who don't. A ballot was passed and the city council voted either yay or nay, and the notion was passed and they approved of Daniel Henderson's idea and began working on it right away. It was 65% yay, 35% nay for the toll booths, but the wall was a 40% vote for yay and 60% for nay. The lady that mentioned that there wasn't enough funds for the wall didn't lie, but then again didn't quite tell the truth either, because there was just enough in the city treasury to build the wall, but just enough doesn't cut it with the budget. Since the notion was passed, they went through with it anyway because Daniel pushed for it, and he pushed hard. And being that this is a security issue, it became a priority, and they voted on it one more time. A week later, after the first toll booth was put up, and then it passed. Daniel smiled as he figured this was a good start. They would put up 2 toll booths at a time, which took about a week at a time. They started on the main roads, and eventually there was a toll booth on every road. Even the country roads and the dirt roads that entered and exited the city had a toll booth eventually. You would think that the people of Humboldt would have been outraged by this, and yes, there were a few that were. But there were way more people that supported Daniel in this decision to wall up the entire city. A lot of people were more concerned with the motorcycle gangs that seemed to come in the city uninvited, like unwanted guests that just party all night and leave the mess for you to clean up afterwards. These people think that Daniel is absolutely the best mayor that this town has ever had, while there seemed to be just a handful of people in comparison who detested him on an obscene level. The toll booths charged 25 cents per vehicle as they would pass through. There was usually a man or woman managing each booth. Upon paying a quarter, they would ask you for your driver's license, which was copied from a copy machine and then placed in a file for both entering and leaving the city. The problem that seemed to occur from this is that many times the traffic would be backed up for miles, causing some people to be late for work or other appointments, usually because there was someone who either didn't have a driver's license or their license was suspended or revoked, or sometimes the driver might be drunk as well, and the police usually would have a warrant out for their arrest. In these cases, when something like this would happen, the toll booth operator would then have to call the police to come and handle the situation. And many times, there was a wait because the officer or officers on duty would be busy handling another situation, which takes priority over the toll booth guys. After the toll booths were up and running, there was eventually plenty of money. No, more than enough money to build the wall around the city. So when it was time to vote again, this time he brought along Leonard, as he was showing much interest in the city politics. Since Leonard was now with Daniel on much of the political decisions of the town, Daniel put Boris in charge of the plant and store, while he runs the city with his son. Now, since there is plenty of money on reserve now, when Daniel raised the notion to build the wall, it now passed, and construction for it now began. There was another problem that the construction of the wall possessed, and that is that many times, since the wall would go around the perimeter of the entire city limits, it would cut through somebody's property. In those situations, the city would have to either buy the property from the owner or just go around the property. But most of the people would go ahead and sell their property to the city because Daniel usually offered 3 times more money than what the property was worth. The wall itself took about 2 years to complete. And that is the end of chapter 10, entitled The Wall. Next, we are going to do chapter 11, which is Thanksgiving at the Hendersons. You're going to really love that one. Anyways, if you like what I read, click like and subscribe. And also, once again, I have 3 other books available on Amazon, including this one. So check them out, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them. In any case, thanks for watching, and have a good day.